Well, I tell you what, there's some hot takes in this one. Strap in, don't roast us too much.
And Stevens lining him up too. Let there be no mistake about that. Stevens went at him at 100 miles an hour. He got another go. He grabs him. He's grabbed play on behind the man.
Welcome back, everybody, further north. North News, this is the place to be, so welcome back. We've got a bit to talk about today. We're going to go back through originally, which the internet roasted me for, my 23 that I put out over a month ago now. Some of the things have changed. Some of my feelings have changed. We've got some training information that makes me think people are playing different positions. We're getting an idea about it. I'm going to go back through mine. Joel is here as well. Joel, welcome back to the podcast. You're going to bring your 23, which we haven't heard. We had Marnie's last time. We're going to have yours today, and we're going to go head-to-head and debate some stuff. So that's going to be very exciting. We've got some other stuff to talk about as well. Obviously, I'm going to touch on the live show. We are recording this on the 5th of Feb on Thursday night. So I'm pre-recording this. We've got a lot of stuff to do for the live show, and I won't be able to get a pod out for the weekend. The live show recording should be out the following weekend if you can't attend and you haven't got a ticket yet. So you'll be able to listen to it the following weekend. So we just feel recording this now, a quick one to put it out, something for you guys on the weekend. Joel is actually going down to the intra-club game, which happens tomorrow on the Friday, and we're going to try and get a little video out for you guys on YouTube, just discussing what he saw. Is Matt Whitlock going to win the Coleman? Is Cooper Harvey the best halfback we've ever seen? Is Constanti the best lockdown defender the game has ever graced? All that sort of good stuff. But let's get all into the meat and veg of that. That being said, if you want to see that video we're going to do, please subscribe to the YouTube channel because that is the place to see it. My goal is to try to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Joel, do you think that is possible?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely possible. It's like North Finals. It's a lock at this point.
You're right. It is a lock. We do know that you have locked North Finals. I want to see a screenshot of your sports bet account, mate. That's what I would like to see.
I had a good win the other day.
I bet you did. And you can have an even better win when we make finals and you put $50 on it and we can post that screenshot on the Further North podcast. And everyone can know you believed, Joel. We've got the receipts from you.
I have planned a September holiday, if that's any consolation.
Well, you know what? Me and my partner Daniela are thinking about going away at the end of the year, and I'm trying to find the perfect time. And she was like, "What about September?" And
September.
I'm like, but what if? But what if? Because even though I know it's not very likely, imagine we go, even the wild card, right? I would be filthy. I don't care if my feet are up in Bali or in Japan or whatever. I would be filthy and I'd be flying back because I've never been to a final. I refuse to go to a final until I see North Melbourne in a final. I'm not wasting my money on these rubbish teams. I'm seeing North in a final the first time I go to the G. And if I missed out, mate,
this year it will be. We'll play a final this year. It's just not that
settle down.
Late September, probably not, but I'll give them that.
Settle down. You're out of hand. You're more out of hand with this than I am with Tom Powell. So you got to chill out, okay? Well,
can't be that out of hand.
Well, yeah, you're right. I'm absolutely unhinged. Live show is obviously going to be this weekend coming up. You will be hearing this probably Sunday morning, I would say Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning. I'm planning to put this out. If any North news happens in the next few days, I apologize. We'll get to it early in the week. For everyone coming to the live show, thank you so much. It is sold out. 1 p.m. doors. Get there at 1. Get your tables. There will be some standing room as well. There's plenty of seats, but a few people may have to stand. Get there early if you're desperate for those seats. The beers will be on tap. That'll help you out at Bonehead Brewing. Everyone get down there at 1 p.m. It's going to be a great time. Joel's going to be down there. Joel, are you going to sign autographs down there, mate?
Oh, I'm going to be drinking, so I'll have a beer or two.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
After my beer,
I would
maybe
actually
I'll
grab your autograph if that would be okay. I'm
Oh, yeah. It's me and you together just like signing each other's jumper the whole time. I think the whole thing.
A live signing of each other's shirts, whatever we've got on. That's what the people want.
Maybe Cooper and Tess will ask for us to, do a little quick signature.
Probably. That's the way around it's going to go. I'm not going to be, when Tess walks in, I'm not going to go all fangirl and everything, so. Oh my God, it's Tess Craven.
She was fantastic in those matches, may I add. So I'm a big fan of her work.
Best kick-off scene of a name for football.
Oh, yeah.
Look, all the more reason to get down there. Prizes, trivia, the beers. Bonehead's a great venue. Thank you to everyone who is coming down. You will be able to see the live show, the week after on YouTube and through Spotify. So, all right, enough formalities. Joel, I think. I think we got to get into this. Now, I want your team and I'm going to react. I've only made a few changes to mine, but I'm going to explain my changes and we're going to talk some snubs. Give me your back six.
Okay, let's start with the back six here. I've gone backline Pink, Chom, Elmac, Kirch, Logan, Hardiman.
Okay.
I think we're playing the 3 key back structure. We did that most of last year. Pink played 17 games, Chom played 22 or 20, and Logue played 16 in the end, I think it was. So we like that structure of the 3. Pink, I think, has been too good to leave out, and I think potentially you could argue down the track that a Trembath hopefully replaces either a Pink or a Logue long term. Almac speaks for himself. There's no one else that's going to replace that role. Almac's been fantastic, I think. I've gone for one of Kirch and Daniel because I don't like the mix of both of them, and I think Hardiman's too good to be leaving out. I like the balance better with those two.
Okay.
What's your back six there, Josh?
I'll get to it. You did say before Trembath to replace a Pink or a Logue. Did you mean?
Oh, sorry, I meant Thread Gold. Sorry, yes, Thread Gold.
Okay, fantastic.
Not Trembath. Though Trembath, I think with his ruck roll, you'll see him when he's rucking. He actually does float back a fair bit, and he has developed a fair whack of that. Like that's what he came into our side as a tall intercepting back as well. So he will play across that line, I think.
Maybe we're seeing more of a Corey McKernan instead of a Wayne Carey role for Cooper Trembath. He's going to turn into prime McKernan, which I'm still completely okay with.
Oh, absolutely. I think he looked fantastic when he was doing the rucking down at the last sim that I saw. So, I think there's an opportunity for him to. He's not going to play that. Thread Gold's the one that's going to. I'm hoping comes into that. But if you see Trembath playing that ruck role a bit more, I think you're going to see him float into the back line a bit more.
What about your man, Will Dawson? You're the number one shotgun man, and you haven't even had him in this conversation, mate. What's going on?
Yeah, no, I don't have him there yet. I think he's got a bit of development still to do. He came in very young and very green. He's got a lot of assets that are very good. I'd be wanting him to really take some lessons off like the other key backs. Core hopefully is really imprinting on him. But I don't have him near the best 23 for basically at least until halfway through the year.
Okay, interesting. Well, look, my back six, I've put the shotgun in there. This was one of the ones where I got a little bit of stick for last time. And I love me some Toby Pink. We know that. I'm the leader of the Toby Pink fan club.
Doubling down.
I mean, look, I've got the Toby Pink shirt. I've got Toby Pink merch at my house. I'm a Toby Pink man. I've had him on the pod. Genuinely would love that man to take me fishing, even though I'm shocking at fishing. I've gone Elmac, Dawson, Logue, Kirch, Chom, Hardiman. So the differences here from my last one is I've taken Daniel off that half back line because I had Colby up on the wing. And I agree with you. I don't want Colby and Daniel off half back. Colby does feel like he's a lock to play there. Other than that, apart from Archer and McDonald getting swapped over here, it is the same back line for me. Hardiman, I mean, he's probably the candidate right now for training the house down and feels like he's having a massive year. McKercher is all but confirmed off halfback with all the information we've got from the trainings. And yeah, look, McDonald sort of slots in there. I know there's some Constanti chat about him going down to the back line. What do you think about that when you sort of heard this? I mean, I love it. We had the Cooper Harvey debate, right? And I know it's a different role. Cooper Harvey's not going to play a lockdown role. But Constanti has shown a skill set for me to think he can make it in the team as that little annoying defender that could play on a Bobby Hill or on a whoever, right, a Cameron. I like it. How did you feel when you heard about this? Is that something you went, oh, yes, or more like, you went, oh, I don't really see it?
To be honest, I don't see it as much. And the only reason I say that, again, is because of Kirch and Daniel probably playing that role a majority of the year.
They're not going to lock down, though, are they? I more mean, like, can Constanti play that Archer role?
Yeah, I don't think he can as well. I think we do need someone that will be able to lock down to a Watson. I'd like him to have that string to his bow. I'll be curious to see where they play him at the sim tomorrow. He should be back in full training by then. And I think he'd been developing his forward craft fairly well. Like I don't think he did a lot wrong in the forward craft area except for his finishing, I think, was a problem. But, I mean, it's not going to be any less transparent when you're coming off the back line and having to nail kicks. And I think he's more likely. And as a junior, he was kicking goals. He was a goal kicker. So I can see him stepping into that role and still doing well. I'll be curious to see where he's training for the rest of it. I don't think it's the worst to have someone who can rotate into those roles as well, just to give us more, that Melbourne game, I'm always going to go back to this. When I saw Will Phillips go back
to
to the
Cozzy Pickett in the
square again,
square.
Cozzy Pickett. And I've just
Yeah.
turned to you, and I think it was Rashawn, and just
Yeah.
like gone, this is just
not looking
the
good.
dumbest thing ever. And like Cozzy, I think, kicked 2 goals in a row, and it was just like, why on earth
What are we doing?
What are we doing on this matchup? I mean, I genuinely don't think Constanti will do that matchup well. I mean, Hardman was one I was hoping for, but they were probably trying to protect him. And Almac, I think, would be much better in that role again, where he can lock down and physically. He's not going to beat him on speed, but he's going to physically be able to beat him in the air a bit more, where Phillips or JK won't be able to do that. So that's the kind of person that I'd want in that role. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch him at training closely and see. I'll let you guys know where he's lining up in the
Joel the Mole will be down there.
No, don't worry. Joel the Mole's going to be down there watching very closely for this one. So he's one of the interesting watchers.
Yeah, I mean, look, and we'll try and get you guys the update on that early in the week. We'll try and make a YouTube video, like a 10, 15-minute thing reviewing that, just so we can get some content out about that. Because I'm interested. I can't make it down because I'm working, but Joel's schedule allows him to get down there. And like you said, he's the eyes of Arden Street down there for us at further north here. Yeah, look, I actually kind of disagree. I think Constanti could be really good at that role. If the finishing ability, and I don't disagree that, like I've said plenty of times, he was good and his forward craft was pretty good. It's just the goal kicking. And I think you can fix that up. But all of his skill set suggests to me that if he got told to follow around a Ginnivan or Watson or something like that, I think he would be pretty good at it because I think he's got the effort, the drive, his tackling ability is great. His pressure factor is great. He'll dive on top of a ball if he has to. I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing that. If Elmac is definitely my first option because I think he played really well last year before the injury. But if for any reason Elmac was getting towed up, I wouldn't mind seeing it, to be honest. I just think his skill set would suit it. And, you know, I don't think there's not much of a track record of defenders becoming forwards as there is forwards becoming defenders, you know. And I just think it's a more simple skill set you need for defense, even though it's maybe arguably a more important one to defend. But yeah, I don't know. I think he's got the attributes. But look, I don't have him in my back six. So all that being said, that is my back six there. So just one more time. I mean, McDonald, Dawson over Pink for me, even though realistically I do think Pink is going to play. I'm trying to do what I would want to do as well as what I think would happen, a combination of both. Logue, Kirch, Chalman, Hardiman. I think all of those are pretty much a lock. You can maybe debate McDonald, but after the Archer injury, probably not. No. And Dawson is obviously the one where I think Pink will play, but I just want games into him, mate, to be honest. I love what I saw. Yes, he got done by Hamish McLean, even though he played really well on Sam Darcy, which doesn't make any sense, but I like what I saw. So that the shotgun is in for me, but if Pink plays, I've got absolutely no problem with that. Okay, midfield. The midfield six. Go the middle four and then the two wingers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll Ruckman. I mean, no one's going to be surprised at that one. I barely need to say the name. Jacob Edwards. Obviously, Cherry's Ruck. I've got Wardlaw, Sheasel, and LDU as the three.
Yeah.
On the wings, I've got Jai and Foss.
Just edging out the same.
Yeah, just edging out Dill, one of them on the wing.
My guy, Dill Stevens. Yes, no, I've got exactly the same. My one change here is I originally had Kirch on the wing. I've moved Foss there. The biggest, and weirdly, and we talked about this a little bit before, the biggest bit of criticism I got, and I knew that people were just going to criticize my lineup regardless, right? Even though, you know, like I said to you before, I had Larky at full forward and LDU in the guts and Sherry in the ruck, and everyone was like, "Are you on crack, mate?" And I'm like, pretty sure they're pretty standard stuff. Anyway, that's the internet. I knew that was going to happen. But the biggest bit of criticism I got, Joel, was I had Cooper Trembath and Finn O'Sullivan on the bench. Now, I didn't know people would be so upset about players on the bench. They're going to play, guys. So just because I put players on the bench doesn't mean that I don't like them. So please don't criticize me for putting certain players on the bench. It's not because they're not going to play. It's not because they're not good enough to be in the 18. It's just balance of team. And that's what I've tried to look at here is like, you know, Hardiman and McKercher off those half back lines with a bunch of defensive guys is fantastic. Hardiman defends as well, but like I think that's a better defensive balance. Foss pushing back, who we saw play off half back a lot to get the ball and try and get that up the ground. Simpkin I like in the forward line with his craft and that sort of stuff. So I think the wingers can sort of rotate and go up and down. Foss maybe pushes back to go a bit more defensive. Simpkin can push up a little bit. And if he marks the ball within the 50, I think it's a good shot at goal. And it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I mean, look, the midfield four, Marnie did have something slightly different. And I think she wanted to play Shees off half forward. But I think most North fans probably agree, like, you know, that
I could make I think you can make an argument that for the start of the game and the start of the season that Parker will be starting in that role opposed to a George Wardlaw.
I could see it, yeah.
I could see that argument, just given Wardlaw's physical history. Not that it makes a huge difference coming off the bench, but Parker starting at the centre bounce might make more sense to them in that situation. So I could see that, and I mean, like, if that's their position, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, and I wouldn't be upset with it either, to be honest, if they did that. But my gut feel is it's still Wardlaw in that role. That's probably the only thing that I might change out in that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think that's all pretty standard, mate. Like I said, the only change of mine was Foss to the wing. We've heard a little bit of rumbling of him on the wing and training on the wing as well, where I feel like will be more of his role this year. I mean, we've heard fantastic things from training about what he does with the ball, what he does without the ball, his delivery of the football. I mean, geez, I still think we underrate him a little bit, and even me at times. I still maybe.
I do not underrate that, man. I will only ever speak the highest of him. I think he was the sneakiest good season that people just. Yeah, I genuinely think he played like a third, fourth year veteran, or like third, fourth year player already. Like, he's not stepping a foot wrong. He's doing all the right plays, and he's playing in a different role than he has been developed as. So it's Foss is an amazing player. I think we've got a real find with him.
Yeah, unreal. If he plays further forwards, I mean, yeah, that will be exciting, yeah. Okay, let's go the forward line then. I mean, spoiler alert for me, my forward line has not changed. I think it's a lock. What do you have?
This is a bit of a tougher part of the ground, to be honest, and not for the reasons probably for saying, like, there's a couple that are immediately lock in. So I've got Curtis, Larkey. I've got Tom Powell as the high half forward. Bull, Darling, and it's a really tough one to go the small forward, which I've got Doveston starting this year. The Dove I've got in. So that's who I'm starting with. Like, there's yet again, I think it's actually tough. There's a lot of competition for that small forward. I could see us playing two small forwards and Powell starting on the bench. But I just think Powell's been too good to start on the bench, and he's training matched him in the re-signing big contract. I don't think he's going to start on the field. And I think he's going to start high half forward and move into the middle as that extra mid. But it's an interesting watch, that one. I think there's a bit of interesting shenanigans they can do with those moves around.
If you were going to play a second small forward, who would it be?
Banch.
Whoa. You're like Marnie on the Banch train. Unreal.
Yeah. But JK, like, Ed, when I go to the bench, like, we'll talk about who I've actually got on the bench.
All right. Well, look, we'll get there. Mine was, I've got Parker, Darling, Zerha, Curtis, Larkey, and the Dove. I would like to see Parker play a little bit more of that forward role, because we know he's a good goal kicker. I don't disagree with the Tom Powell thing as well. I think he's going to find, like I've spoken about heaps, his role on the outside a bit more. I don't really like him at the CBAs. I would much rather him around the ground linking up. So, yeah, even though clearly I don't have him on the field to start. But don't worry, he is on the bench. I haven't dropped him to the twos yet. Let's go to the bench. That was a joke. Don't comment down below.
Comment down below. Just
please
right
do
down
not.
there.
The bench. What is your five?
My five, Daniel, still finds a spot in our side. Yep. Parker still finds a spot in our side. Dill Stevens has been fantastic at training. He's a bit unlucky not to be on the field, to be honest. JK, I've got on the bench. And Trembath, I've got on the bench as well. I think Trembath's versatility in that role, being a potential ruck forward / ruck utility if he goes back every now and then, I think it's too versatile to turn down.
Okay. I've got Powell, Big Game Zane, Dill Stevens, Caleb Daniel, and Cooper Trembath as well. And it's okay that Cooper Trembath is on the bench, guys. Settle down. I guess the only difference there for me is, like, you've got JK, I've got Durs, and I guess we go to the back line as well. Like, I've got Dawson, you've got Pink, and other than that, we've got the same sort of players. So, you know, clearly we're all thinking along the same sort of lines. I agree. Dill Stevens probably unlucky. I think he had a good year, but it's hard with Foss and Simpkin. I think they're not better runners necessarily, but Foss is such a powerful athlete. I think he can be so versatile. Simpkin, I think he can play a great role pushing forward as well and rotate through the midfield. But once again, just because they're on the bench, we're not playing them down at all. They're going to play plenty of game time. So that it's just finding an exact spot. But I like the setup I've got of the 18 defensively and offensively. Powell on the bench, basically the Mr. Fix-It, can go into half forward, half back, on the wings or something like that. And I think he'll play a role. Durs is the interesting one. And I listened to the feedback last time and people were like, Durs has to earn it. And I completely agree with that. once again, I'm sort of going with what I would like alongside what I think Clarkson will do, and I've tried to mash them both together. I just want to see him play, and I've heard his preseason's going okay. Nothing crazy standout, even though you did point out he kicked a few goals and looked pretty dangerous at times. I just think he can be so versatile, and I really want it to work out for him. So I'm still going to give him the nod, but we'll know more after some of the practice games and everything, I guess. But what's your reasoning for no Dersma?
It's more so, I think, last year we started with the two small forward structure. Last year, I think our first game was Hanson Jr. and JK were in that role. And then when the season progressed and we brought Banch in, we often saw Banch and JK. So they like playing those two small forwards. I don't really consider Paul Curtis that small forward type as much as that mid-sized one. So I think JK off the bench, I still think he's going to be playing majority of forward unless I see something differently at the training. Dove, the other one. Trembath is that rotational float. I think probably a bit more team balance is my gut feel. The other ones, like JK is a bit vulnerable in that position, and I probably think Trembath's a tiny bit vulnerable. Dove, I think, is a tiny bit vulnerable in terms of my list where I would have them in that. That's where Durs could step in. I just think team balance-wise it doesn't work out as well. But that's my rationale for it. And like Durs, I'm really hoping gets a game and really comes in early. I think I've got him as my unlucky. He's probably that next one off the cab off the rank for me.
Yeah, for sure.
But just like he would need to do a lot more this offseason for me, and I think he's doing a lot of the right things. But I mean, he's every time I go down to training, he's one that I'm watching very closely for because I'm really invested in seeing him do well personally. So tomorrow I'll be watching him very closely again, seeing how he goes, and just hopefully see some of those sparkling moments that because he is a freak athlete. But Curtis and Bull are just both better at that role than him at the moment.
They're more established players as well. But track watch would be interesting. I wish I could get down there, to be honest. Well, look, have we got anything else really to talk about there? I mean, Caleb Daniel is maybe a slight talking point. A lot of people obviously don't have him in the team at all. I don't know if I see that as overly realistic. No. I think he's definitely good enough to be in our 23. And I was a Daniel backer, as we all know. I didn't think he was as bad as people thought he was. But I think, if he was getting the ball around the wings or half forward as well, even just doing the same thing that I think Tom Powell might do for the team, I really like that, even though I'm not comparing those two as players because they're different. But, if Daniel did get the ball forward to center, I still feel really confident he's going to hit someone on the chest and find the right option. And if Kirch does get subbed off and they throw him back there and they're mixing some stuff around, I'm also completely fine with him sort of running that ball off halfback as long as it's not completely defensively vulnerable and they're not maybe both doing it all the time at the same time. I still think he can be a really good player for us. And he's sixth in our best and fairest as well.
Yeah, he's good enough. Like, I mean, for those saying that he can't be in our best 22, I mean, his closest competition for spot for the first 12 weeks this season is probably Cooper Harvey.
Yeah.
Like, in reality, that's who's next in the line. I mean, like, you're not playing.
But he's got a way to
not
go,
first 12 weeks.
No, not first 12 weeks,
yeah. And same, like, I mean, Archer's out now. So, I mean, who are you replacing him with? I mean, you could argue Dill Stevens off the halfback every now and then.
Foster people hate his down there, I guess. But
I think you're wasting his ability moving him halfback. He can do it, but, like, I think you're wasting his ability. I mean, like, who else are you playing in that role to replace him? Like, I mean, JK's a sidestep. Like, I mean, Daniel's will be far better in that role than JK will be.
Off halfback, yes, but I think JK will be better.
Lockdown
one-on-one, sort of role. But I know what you mean, yeah.
So, like, I mean, like, that's the big thing for me. Like, no, like, who's replacing him? To be honest, I mean, if Cooper Harvey replaces him, like, absolutely stellar that he's done that, Harvey.
Yeah.
So no, I just don't see it. Like, that's probably why. I mean, Kirch is going to be great off that running off half-back line, I think, as well. But I think long-term he moves into the middle. We just need more soldiers down the back that can replace him.
No, it's true. The only other change I've made here is obviously CCJ out for Dill Stevens in. I still think there's a world where we see CCJ, and I think we will see him in the first half of the year, depending on opponent, especially if we go up against teams with a better backup ruckman. I think that fifth interchange spot will still allow him to play. I know a lot of people have completely written him off, even though I think he played really well in those twos and he made his way back into the team. But I just think after I've heard about Cooper Trembath training in the ruck a lot, I'm once again trying to keep it realistic what I'm hearing compared, alongside what I would want as well. And I think he's probably the next man up for that ruck spot if Cooper wasn't playing or if anything happened to Tristan. But, we did hear some word that Goad was playing forward as well. They tried him in a little bit of match sim forward, which really excites me. I can't remember his last podcast or the one before, but there's been a few times now that I've been a big advocate for hoping that he plays in the forward line in the VFL as well and does that ruck hybrid. I don't even know who would be. I guess it's CCJ in the twos to start, and those two sort of ruck forward combinations.
Yeah.
And I'd really, really like to see Goad play a lot of forward this year, because that's the only way he breaks in this team. Tristan's going to be our ruckman for the next, I don't know, 8 years, 7-8 years or something like that. At least 5. He signed that big deal. So, how else does Goad break into this team? And that is the way. So it's really exciting for me that Goad is there. I still think CCJ gets a go before Goad. And even though Goad is more part of the future, I'm way more excited for Goad. And if I was coach, would I pick Goad? Probably. Realistically, I think CCJ is going to get that crack first as an established player. And then if he's not working out, I think Goad gets a run maybe back half of the year. But they put a little highlight reel of Taylor Goad up on the Instagram, Joel, and I was watching this going, Joel is going to be a very, very damp man watching that highlight reel.
I was very damp watching that. It was very, very damp. No, it was very exciting. And Wherever I May Roam by Metallica is just great song choice. Great
track. That made me want to message you and be like, give me some more song recommendations, mate. What are you into? Are you a metalhead like you and me, Joel? We're not into the modern, the Drakes and the Kendricks. We're old school, mate,
Yeah, no, he's got a bit of an old soul to him, that Goad, I think. I did see him training in the forward line. I mean, he's got a lot to develop and learn there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's got, but that's what his next step is. He took him from where he started to where he is now. He has just absolutely come leaps and bounds. He was the last sim match that I went to. It was every time him and Cherry were competing. The previous sim match, people were saying that he got absolutely towered by Cherry, which Cherry's an All-Australian, All-Australian mature ruckman. But last time I saw them, I thought it was a lot more actually evenly. He competed extremely well. When he went forward, Cherry went forward. They both went forward at the same time to opposite teams. And that's when Trembath and Darling were rucking. And Trembath absolutely just jumped all over. And that's what I think with the new rules, that's why I think Trembath's really in with a good shot. If CCJ comes in, and I do see a world where that happens, the player that I think, I've got a lot of faith in Trembath coming in. The player that I hope he replaces and that I hope he does is Darling.
Yeah.
That's the role that I think he could actually do. You can leave Cherry or Trembath to go the centre ruck where you can do the the long, because the throw up's going to happen a lot quicker as well, the ball up.
True. They're not nominating now, is it? They're just throwing it in, yeah.
Yeah. So CCJ is a permanent forward. Darling's probably still going to get those taps because of that. And Cherry's probably not going to, Cherry's going to play forward at stages, but with the way that the ball and the speed's moving, those agile players are a bit more, given a bit more license. And I think that's where Trembath will also come to his own as well because of that.
Yeah. And that's an interesting point as well about the ruck contest around the ground as well, because the ruckmen aren't going to be jumping at each other then, are they? So that's actually something I've never even considered until right now. Is we're all thinking about, these new ruck rules don't suit Tristan Xerri as much, but then around the ground he's still going to be dominating all these ruckmen who maybe have a better vertical than him. But even if De Koning's there who can jump higher than him, I don't want to jump high into Tristan Xerri. I feel like that will be very intimidating. So around the ground, Xerri was still dominating. I guess at ground level, he's that next midfielder as well.
Yeah, and people forgot why they originally got rid of the jumping into each other part at the ruck contest.
People were doing their knees, weren't they?
People were doing their knees and getting injured. I mean, if they're allowed to jump, Cherry's got a lot better vertical than people give him credit for.
He's 26 years old as well. This is what I thought, because I loved his attitude.
You don't want him jumping into you.
No, absolutely not. When I heard him, I heard a quote. I didn't hear the interview exactly, but there was apparently a quote coming out about someone asked him, do you think it'll affect you? And he goes, I'll just jump, mate. And he's 26 years old. He's a power athlete. Yeah, he's big and he might not be able to jump as high, but he can still jump pretty high. 26-year-old built with a brick house of muscle. I think he's going to be able to jump just fine as well. He's even coming into his prime as a ruckman. So, we'll see how that goes.
I got faith in Cherry in this one, and I think Goad will develop well behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope we see Goad at some point this year. He's very, very exciting. I mean, like we discussed, play him as a ruck rover. That'll be incredible.
Could do that. He's good enough on the
Speaking of moist, that's what I'll be if I start seeing him. Okay, let's talk about some guys we didn't have in, and we'll just mention them quickly before I want to go on a little Kane Corns rant about some rubbish he was speaking through the week. And once again, I know this is exactly what he wants us to do, and we're talking about it, but we're here to cover anything North Melbourne. I'm going to talk about it. Bailey Scott, do we have, is there any update on him training-wise?
He's training fine, but he's like, there's 4 players I put into the I'm concerned category for them and where their careers are at. Bailey Scott, he's not near that best 22.
It's his last year on his deal, isn't it?
Last year on his deal, but he's nowhere near the best 22 for me at the moment. Like he's fine. He'll probably play games, but he'll play games in the way that Darcy Tucker did last year is my gut feel. The way he played games last year.
A bit more Bailey Scott half-back potentially, Joel. How exciting.
If he can play that, I mean, like we need someone in that role and he's not replacing anyone at the moment.
He was scary back there when we threw him off half-back for like the start of last year or the year before or something. Oh, God.
Aiden Core.
Fair.
Not in a bad way, though. I just think I just can't see him playing ahead of the other guys. And like
now we've got Dawson and Threadgod coming through too.
Yeah. Zach Fisher, been playing forward now by all accounts.
I am not writing Zach Fisher off, Joel. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to write him off.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think
he's behind everyone in that list. He's behind Hanson Jr., Banch, JK, Doverston.
I know I'm going to get roasted in the comments here, Joel. I would pick Fisher over a half forward over Banch.
Oh,
I would.
Oh,
I would. I don't know if I see it with I like Banch and I want him to be good. I haven't seen that thing yet. And I always have this feeling of like Zach Fisher kicking those 3 points against at the end of that Eagles game. And I'm like, man, he was
in 3. He missed the 3 ones against.
Yes, but he got the opportunity. Same as Constanti. He got the opportunities. He looked quick at and dangerous at ground level. I don't know, man. I don't know. And look, I know.
We're going to revisit this in
the YouTube comments are going to roast me. I understand. Go ahead and say what you want to say. And it's not maybe an anti-Banch thing. I don't know, man. I just don't know if Zach Fisher is. I don't think he's not an AFL player. You know what I mean? He's too good for a VFL player.
No, I mean, he's not like he's played AFL before. Yes,
he has played AFL before.
He has played AFL.
I've seen it in the flesh.
Yes, I have seen that in the flesh. I don't know. I just don't see it this year for him. He's got too big a contract. He's got another 2 years anyway. They're trialing him as a forward because they can't play him off halfback.
No, but because we've got bodies down there. But I think, I don't know. Like I know we brought Spargo in and stuff. Spargo, I doubt will be ready for round 1 though. I don't know. Yeah. I know that I'll probably look back on this and be like, what was I even saying? And once again, I know that the comments are gonna grill me for that. And I'm not saying he's not in my 23. Okay, everybody. So please don't act like he's there.
Is this a Curtis Taylor has superstar potential comment?
Well, I'm not saying that, Joel, but Zach Fisher might win our BNF. That's all I'm saying. No, I don't know. I would like to see Zach Fisher in a role in front of the ball where he can use his left foot and he can use his ground level ability. He's quick. He finds the football, which we know. And I think he created plenty of opportunities. His best football at AFL level has been in the forward line at Carlton as well. Agreed. So, I would pick him over a Banch personally. But if I see some Zach Banch this year and I finally go, yep, he can kick straight now and he isn't going to just get dragged along like Robert Hanson Jr. when he tries to lay a tackle. I'll get on the Banch wagon and patent pending that. Don't steal the Banch wagon from me, guys. It's not an anti-Banch thing. I don't know. Who would you pick? Zach Fisher or Robert Hanson Jr. to play?
Hanson Jr.
Oh, that's wild.
Hanson Jr. I think he's a better delivery of the ball and a bit more creative. The issue with Hanson
he'll get
Jr.
lost in games though, mate. He'll end up with five touches and there's no sub rule now, so I guess he's got to stay on the ground.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I mean, but Hanson Jr., I can see the upside for him. Like, I can see it.
Do you think it's high enough though?
What he needs to develop is the same thing I think I said in the one about the about the players, which is he needs to draw even on his 50-50 contest because he loses all of them, Hanson Jr., and he needs to learn how to tackle. If he can do those two things, he'll be in our team.
Yeah. So I think the club is developing faster than I think like a Banch or a Hanson Jr. can hit their talent or their peak talent.
I like Banch.
I like Banch too. Zach Banch, if you're listening to this, I am not a hater of you. I love that mark you took, but I just need
I
to
back you,
see.
Bench.
Yeah, I just need to see the game where I'm like, that's what he can do at AFL level. You know, I want him to work out. I support Zach Banch. I think he follows the gram. Like, I hope if Zach Banch is listening to this, it's nothing negative towards you, my friend. I want to look back and be like, Zach Banch is the greatest small forward to ever play the game. I hope he takes a hanger so high this year that some say he's still up in the air, right? But I didn't quite see the goal sense, and he is very small, and I don't think he's overly quick at AFL level. Now, if he develops that stuff, fantastic. But I don't know. I would still trust Zach Fisher on a football field at a half forward role in round one than I would Zach Banch. Because do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I know what you're saying. I get you.
I think we're developing fast. I think we'll jump more from 2025 or say even like 2024 to 2026 or 25 to 27. I think we'll jump more than maybe they'll go from where they are to what their max potential would be. Yeah. You know, maybe it's like a Darcy Tucker or something like that. Maybe we leave some of those players behind because we do accelerate. You know, we're talking about Bailey Scott. I mean, Bailey Scott was like top 3 or 5 in our best and fairest like 3 years in a row. And now we're saying that now Foster's there, Dill Stevens has overtaken him. We're overtaking them and we're leaving some players behind. I think Geordie Payne was the same. Geordie Payne at AFL level, I'm like, yeah, he looks okay, but I never saw that thing that made me go, he's an AFL player. Same with Flynn Perez and Jack Marnie and all these guys. You know, Eddie Ford, probably not. I actually liked Eddie Ford and I wanted him to hang around. Eddie as well. Will Phillips was the same. I look at Will Phillips like, he's just a guy who's going to get 13 touches and he wears his heart on his sleeve and he wraps his head up when he cuts his eye because he dives on the footy and I love that about him. He seemed like a ripping bloke, but he's just not good enough at AFL level. And Banch is young and he's got plenty to prove and plenty of time to grow. But I don't know if I have seen enough as of yet to think he's a chance to play in the ones if we're as good as we all realistically think we could be.
I'm not going to write Fisher off. Like,
you read him off, mate.
I'm going to put him in the same category as I put a CCJ, where you've got, except I'd say CCJ has more upside, but I'll put him in that same category where it's a new season, it's a fresh start for him. Let's give him the opportunity to prove himself. My only knock on him is he's been injured a bit too much as well. But the year before, we just didn't we went out and brought Caleb Daniel in because we knew that Fisher wasn't up to that role.
But why are we trying to play him off halfback anyway? Like I think his best football's been in that forward line. And the one glimpse we got of it, yes, it was 3 points, and I understand.
Collingwood that game, wasn't it? That was the one.
No, that was the West Coast game. That was West Coast over in the West. And he kicked 3 points in the last quarter when we just snuck over the line. We were behind. And we just snuck over the line. He kicked, and look, I know he didn't kick the goal, but it's almost like it's the same as my opinion on.
He's getting the opportunity.
He created the opportunities for himself. He picked the ball up in the forward pockets. He evaded some players, and then he's had a shot at goal. And if it goes through, mate, he would have won us the game. You know what I mean? So I'm just not completely writing him off. Now, the thing I don't believe in with him is his body and his hamstring staying intact. And once again, for all the people who have already commented, my God, Josh, get off the crack pipe, brother. You know, Zach Fisher should never play AFL football again. And I know those comments will be down there, but I'm not saying he's best 23. I'm not saying he's really that close to it, but he's ahead of some other players for me that I don't think have proved as much at AFL level. In round one, that's still the way I'll go. But look, we'll leave it there because I don't want to keep going on about Zach Fisher. People are getting bored of the Zach Fisher debate. I mean, throwing other names in there like Spargo as well, Banch, Constanti, like all these guys are sort of fighting for a similar spot. And correct. Do you think how deep or how many injuries would we have to have for Spargo to be in this team? Or do you think there's a chance he's in our best team anyway?
I mean, I was never that huge on his acquisition personally. Yeah. With us picking up Dubberston, like he's if I'm looking at the lineup here, I have JK ahead of Spargo personally, just from what I've seen. I love his defensive pressure. Dubberston, I think, is a lot more exciting. RHJ versus Spargo is probably the conversation that we'll be having.
I'd take Spargo over that.
I'd probably take Spargo over RHJ. That's probably where we're at. But Robert Hansen Jr., I guess, is not got an extremely dodgy leg that's been out for 18 months. And potential development in the offseason. So, like, it's not like that's probably where I rate him. I prefer Banch to him. I still I know you're not on the Banch train as much, but
not as much.
not as much,
Love
but
you,
I
Zach.
like I quite like Banch. I think he's a very good shot at round one still.
You reckon? Yeah. Can I
yeah,
just
I really
ask, because
do.
not to go over this again, but what have you seen? Because my thing I've said heaps here is I don't know if I've seen that thing, that one attribute that I'm like, that's AFL quality, and that he can lean into that and be a player. And once again, not writing him off whatsoever. I
Yeah.
hope he shows that. And as soon as he does, I'm going to be on the Banch train, the Banch wagon, as we've
The
patent
Banch
pending it
wagon,
here
as
at
we've
Further
patented.
North. Do not steal that. That's merch. What have you seen from Zach Banch maybe I haven't picked up on yet?
Yeah, I mean, the way I'd put it is like AFL level, what I see from him is the reason that you see those long kick dumps to him is because his work rate up the field is far higher than anyone else. It hasn't really, I agree with you. I don't think it's translated yet at AFL level to a large extent. When I've watched him at VFL level, he's a step above everyone. Like, and you can tell that, like, when he goes down to VFL, he's all over the field. He's getting the possessions. And I think as we improve, he's a lot more. I have him ahead of Spargo because I think Spargo would be really exposed in our lineup unless we're doing the better defensive work and we're getting the ball to him in the role positions he likes.
Yeah.
Banch, I think, can get the ball in positions he doesn't like and still make something happen, which we saw a few times at AFL level. He hits the ball at speed when it's like when the ball gets in the
I was going to
packs,
ask you about his speed quickly, sorry, because I do you think he's over quick enough at AFL level? Because
explosive. Yeah, I think he takes off quick. Like watch
take off quick.
yeah.
Yes, I don't know if his top speed is overly that rapid. Like I feel like there was a bunch of times I remember in the Saints game where he played and he got the ball on the wing a lot, and I don't know if his speed was as rapid as I would like a guy that size. And also his delivery by foot, I don't think was great. I think he did a few kicks that ended up going out of bounds or didn't hit the target correctly. So, and don't get me wrong, you can get in the lab, you can fix that sort of stuff. And he is only young. Okay.
I don't think it was a great
Mid-season draft pick.
representation for himself, the St.
No.
Kilda game.
And
I
I'm
agree
not
with you
completely
on
writing
everything
him
you
off.
say. I agree with you.
Yeah, but I just want to see that first before I put him over a guy who's played at AFL level and I know what I'm going to get from them. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's go on to a couple of other players here. How quickly do you think we could see Josh Gota this year?
He's starting from a lot further back now, I think. They did a sim match the other day. I think it was on the Friday last week, one of the earlier weeks. And they had Gota and Zohar going against each other because they were trying some drawings. And Zohar just absolutely schooled him. Gota, like, I'm worried for him because I really, like, and as a lot of North fans, they really love him and they really love Braden George.
Yeah.
I'm worried with the Achilles injury that he's lost a bit of that explosive ability and confidence in his body. If there are issues going into next season or going into this season, it's going to really hurt his opportunity to stay on our list and improve. He needs to have that confidence in his body and he needs to have that confidence in that explosiveness. So I'm really hoping we can see that from him. That's my concern with him. I think my goal for him would be similar. He has to stay fit all year. He has to play as many games as possible. Like, missing a week here or two isn't the worst situation. I think by mid-year, I'd be really hoping that he's pushing hard for an AFL spot would be my feel for him. Similar to Braden George.
Yeah, Braden George is another interesting one. I don't really have him on the list of players here that I think maybe could get into the team. He's one of the ones to me that I'm a bit not out on because I don't doubt his potential. I don't know. I don't know where he would fit in the side, and we're struggling to get a Dersma in this side, and I would hope Dersma gets the opportunity over a Braden George, and I think they're going to once again, like if Cooper Harvey's not going to play right in that forward line, and we're looking at a Dersma, where does he get in that forward line, all this sort of stuff. I don't know where a Braden George happens because once again we're doing this thing again where we go, could he play a wing? Could he play halfback? He's a forward. He's played forward the whole time. Cooper Harvey has played more than him and has kicked goals at AFL level. He should be getting the opportunity ahead of Braden George, I think, because of his contribution to the team so far, and especially late last year. It's interesting, man. I just don't know where he breaks in. I like him, and I really hope I get to see him play, but I don't know. I don't know. I need to see some ripping games from him in the twos before I think we talk about him being in the ones. Another player I'm going to ask you about, one of your guys as well. What does Whitlock have to do to get into this team? How close was he to being in your team, or you think there's still a lot of development there with Darling and Trembath over the top of him?
Yeah, personally, I think he's got a fair bit of development left. He does the things well that key size people shouldn't, but he doesn't do the things that they should do well, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like his foot skills and his mobility and agility around the field is actually really good. He's a really good kick of the ball. He moves really well for somebody's size. He's better in those kind of aspects. I'd like to see him put on a bit of size and take a couple
Looks
of
bigger this
contested grabs.
off season though.
He does, but he's still like getting a bit ragdolled. Like him and Will Dawson are going against each other fairly often. As a training that I've seen.
He's on the list though, but yeah, I get.
Yeah, and Will's not like I think Will's issue isn't his body. I think Will's issue is like he needs to develop his game sense. Whitlock, I mean, like I would hope that mid this year we're seeing a heavy push by Matlock to be able to play some serious time in their forward line. Hopefully over like a CCJ, hopefully just as that utility / wing, potentially Trembath at the moment's actually in his position. I don't see Trembath giving it up from the way he's trained and the way he's come back physically.
Exciting.
It's very exciting. But like, what like if he develops and becomes really knocking heavy on that door, I mean, that's not going to be bad for the club. That's going to be fantastic for the club. So hopefully we see that by mid-year is my hope for him. Like, I think he's got a little bit of time. I don't foresee him playing in the first 6-12 weeks. I think something's got wrong if he is.
Yeah, we've got an injury or
Or
something.
exceptionally well.
Or he's kicking 5 a week in the VFL for some reason. But yeah, I agree. The VFL is going to be such an interesting watch this year, I think. I think this year I feel a lot more excited to watch VFL games, to see Goad play, to see Whitlock play, and so many guys like just Braden George, if Dersma's in there.
Threadgold.
Threadgold, Urquhart, what Cooper Harvey doing at that level. It's really, really exciting stuff.
And a couple of special mentions just from what I've seen that is worth talking about. And I think we could see getting games by mid-year / earlier than you would expect. Urquhart has been exceptional. I really like what I've seen from him. I think he's put on size. He's adding something exceptionally different than the other midfielders. He's not like his kicking for me is still atrocious and he needs to develop. He kicked a beautiful goal though on the sim game the other day. His kicking needs work, but everything else he does exceptionally. Like his tackling is really good. His impact and size, that big inside mid that we've talked about needing, he does all the stuff that they should do, just slightly missing on that kicking part, which I think he can develop, and I think you can hide that with the people around him. The other player that's actually really surprised me this offseason, I'm not sure how early they play, could be pushing a Caleb Daniel and that kind of thing for us.
I think I know you're going to say.
Makunda.
Yeah, I was going to say
Little
Makunda.
Hugo.
Yeah, I've heard great things about him so far. Really clean, good ball user, got a bit of pace about him, good game awareness.
Yeah, he gets involved in all the plays and that as well. So like he's Daniel's going to get games ahead of him clearly. Yeah. But like he can start to be pushing into that side and putting some pressure on those guys ahead of him. And I could see him doing that very well. And I could see him getting games a bit earlier than people expect him to. For something that was, for lack of better way of putting it, as something that was a swing at the fences, there's a lot to like about him. I think he's got like a lot of really good assets and seems like a really good kid. So hopefully we see the best out of him.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting. We got all the match sims and the preseason games coming up. I've got my tickets to Ballarat, which is very exciting. The website did not work on my phone, but I had to get a laptop and it worked. So that was very, very frustrating. But I'm going to go to Ballarat. We're going to see North play against, well, I don't actually know, because I guess it's only AFL listed players can play in those games. But geez, I kind of want to see Eddie Ford, Bryn Teakle and Will Phillips roll out for the Pies. And it's going to be interesting in the VFL to see them back at Arden Street. That'll be so interesting. But hopefully everyone's going to get up to Ballarat and I'll be wandering around. So come and say hello if you're up there as well. And then we've got a hit out before that against the D's on a Friday at like 4 p.m, which I can't go to either, which is a stupid time, North Melbourne. I want to get to all the footy I can get to, so please roster these games around my schedule. We're going to have a little quick chat before we finish up about this Kane Corns thing, Joel, because we've talked about Kane Corns a lot. I understand that him in the media is made to antagonize and made to irritate people for comments, for engagement, to get clicks, to get views, and that's how they make their revenue, right? That's what the modern AFL media is all about, which is annoying, but that's the game. And if we keep consuming it, they're going to keep doing it. I don't know if everybody heard this, but on SEN, Kane Corns cut out a clip from the Make It Happen LDU 15-minute doco thing. And some of the twisted words that Kane Corns really used was a bit gross to me. And look, I'm not just here to rant about Kane Corns as a whole, but I took a lot of issue with this one in particular because I don't think I've heard a more pathetic try-hard segment of radio just to bash a club for the sake of bashing them. And it's not like before where he's picking on us because we're down, because we're small, because he gets impressions. I understand why he does that. He's been coming up in this media role the entire time we've been down. The Horn Francis stuff. He doesn't like North. His dad got cut by us because he was rubbish too. I get all that sort of stuff, right? I get he's got this beef with us, and it's easy to pick on us. He never gets backlash really for a smaller fan base, and the way he gets engagement from other fans is to talk negatively about us. But this segment was absolutely pathetic, mate, and there's no other word to describe it because the twisted words from LDU said we should strive to make finals. And even though he didn't come out and say, LDU said they're making finals, every next part of his conversation was hinting and suggesting that LDU thinks we're making finals this year. And I've just never seen such a desperate try-hard segment on radio or in the media at all. I've been annoyed by certain segments. I've been frustrated. I think a lot of the facts that they're trying to say facts are wrong a lot of the time because they don't consume as much North as we do. I don't care that they've played the game. I don't believe they think anywhere close to what we know about the club. But I just couldn't believe it's the words he uses that really frustrates me. Like he was saying that Clarkson's been there for 4 years now. Well, that's just straight up not true. He's going into his 4th season, but he's using his words to make it sound like Clarkson's been there 4 years. He's only coached 2 full seasons. We all know what happened year 1. Was he really there? No, we have to write that one off. He's had 2 seasons full-time head coach, and he's going into his 4th season, 3rd season with an asterisk, right? That's just the facts of the situation. That's not me trying to make it better for Clarkson. That's not me trying to help him out and make it sound not as bad. That's just the facts of the situation. You've got a guy who's suggesting that, the backline has to improve before they make finals. Yeah, we know that, mate. They never said we're making finals. LDU said we should strive to make finals. And I think that's completely fair enough to say. 2 years ago, when Zerha said we think we can make finals this year, we all said, you know what? Absolutely no chance, Cam. We're rubbish. We don't want to hear that. It's different now at North Melbourne. And look, the fan base doesn't think we're making finals. I don't even think LDU thinks we're making finals. But should we strive to do it? Should we strive for 10th to try and get in that wild card? Should we strive for 8th to try and get in the actual finals? Absolutely, because our list is talented enough now and it wasn't a few years ago. So I just really despise the way Kane Cornes presented that. And it's different to what he's done before because I actually think a lot of the stuff he talks about is correct. The way he says it, though, is to antagonize, and he's not maybe after delivering the facts as he is delivering the antagonistic side of it to get engagement. But this one was just different. Let me know down below in the comments if you felt that too, because the first thing I thought about when I listened to it was this is pathetic. And I've never felt that about Kane Cornes before. I've thought he's rage baiting us. I've thought this guy's just after views and clicks. But I've never felt such a pathetic attempt for attention and to, get under the skin of a fan base. And you could argue that me talking about it now is getting under the skin. You could argue that me doing this right now is exactly what he wants. But I think it's North news and I've got to talk about it. And I just thought it was pathetic. I thought it was weak journalism. And I don't usually put those two things with him. I've got other things I don't like about him, and I've got other things I do like because I think there's a space in the modern media for an antagonist like a Stephen A. Smith type who, yes, his words antagonize, but a lot of his facts and things he brings to the table are true, right? And a lot of he knows what he's talking about, even though he is made to antagonize. But I just thought trying to grab a bit of audio from a 15-minute little North doco for the fans and blowing it completely out of proportion and then going on to use his words to inflate how bad we've been with Clarkson being there for 4 years now is just disgusting. And I think it was pathetic. And honestly, Kane, you're better than that. He should be better than that. He's been better than that. And it was just low. So a pathetic one from Kane there. Give me your 2 cents on this, Joe. I don't know if you heard this or not. I just wanted to say my piece on it before we finish up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, for me, he's just a poor man's version of a Stephen A. Smith anyway. Like, Stephen A. Smith, I agree with you. I mean, but he's sort of like the better sort of version of it. It's a slow off season. There's not a lot sort of happening. So he has to go after something and he needs to make content every day. And, I mean, obviously the fact that we're talking about it's exactly what he wants anyway. So that's the thing with that kind of content. As I said, it's a slow off season. I like what David King's been doing. David King tends to go down to the clubs and watches the off season stuff and watches the clubs training and actually has an impact that way by seeing what's happening. Where Kane doesn't do any of that stuff because most of the clubs don't let him down there because they don't like him.
No, we don't let him in the rooms anymore, I guess. But yeah, but you know what I'm trying to say, right?
He went after Sheasel in a second year. That's the kind of stuff. Like he's going after Sheasel as second year player at a bottom
won
club.
2 BNFs, yeah.
Won 2 BNFs and what do you call it?
Horn Francis a couple years ago, yeah.
Horn Francis gets the carpet rolled out for him for playing half a season in a side that has one of the best midfields in the league at the time, and they're crushing.
And now they look like they're dropping like flies, to be honest. And Horn Francis can't even kick the ball straight. I don't disagree. I'm not outraged by this. I'm not angry about it. I just got a feeling listening to it that it was just so cheap and pathetic, to be honest. It's a different feeling I've got from Kane Corn. So I just want to make that very clear. I'm not angry at this and I'm not getting rage baited by it. I just listened to it and I was like, it's just so pathetic and sad that that's the way he's trying to spin it now. You can easily talk about our defense not being good enough and stuff. And we've talked about that before, but he'll also go on and talk about Pink and Logue and stuff. And I'm like, well, Logue has barely been fit for 2 years. He never mentions Will Dawson's name. I don't even think he knows who he is. We've drafted Blake Threadgold. We've got McDonald back and that sort of stuff. And so that is going to boost our defense a little bit. Hardiman's coming on. And those are never in conversations about our defense. But I get that sort of stuff. And I understand that he can critique and talk about a back line when obviously it's not good enough, But this, just the way he took the audio from it just felt pathetic, to be honest. I've said it a lot of times and it just felt like such a cheap, easy grab. And I just don't like that. I don't actually hate Kane Corn's everything he does. I think there is a world and a place for him in the media to antagonize a little bit and get those headlines. And, I actually enjoy listening to Stephen A. Smith with a lot of the things he says. After a certain amount of time, he gets a bit annoying. But I sort of want to hear his takes because I think his knowledge is really good of the game, but the way he presents it can sometimes be a bit antagonizing. And I think that's fine. And if Kane Corns was like that, I'd be like, you know what? Even though you're pissing me off because you're shitting on my club all the time, I get you because you're right. But this one just irked me a lot more. And it just felt a bit like, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed, Kane, because you're better than that, to be honest. So anyway, look, we'll leave it there. I've given it enough airtime. And I understand this, us talking about it now or me talking about it is probably what he wants, but it's not coming from a place of rage and being upset necessarily. It's coming from a place of, I was just disappointed, and I think he can do better than that, and I think it's cheap. So anyway, I'm sure Kane Corners is listening. So if you're listening, Kane, come on the pod. I'd love to have a chat to you. Very unlikely to happen, though.
You never know.
All right. Well, you never know. When we win the flag this year, Joel, maybe he wants to have a chat then. He'll say, I always loved Sheasel. No. Anyway, let's finish it up there. Thank you for tuning in, guys. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe. I want to hit 3K by the end of the year. That is the goal. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm setting a crazy goal, but it's only 700 subscribers away. So we will see. If North win some games, it's absolutely possible. But if we can get to 3,000 by the end, when we win every game this season, there's no excuse not to subscribe. We will be back earlier next week, maybe with a 10, 15-minute video of a training review back with Joel. He can give us his thoughts and we can really break it down a bit more. That will be exclusive to YouTube because it's a smaller video. I don't bother putting those out as a pod. So if you aren't on YouTube yet, please get on YouTube and subscribe because you get extra content on there. Put your comments below about everything we've said. Joel, thank you for coming on once again, mate. Everyone's going to see you at the live show. He's going to be signing autographs, Joel. You can get his autograph down there. And you'll also hear his voice back on the pod early next week. So almost too much Joel in our life, if that is a thing.
No, never a thing. But yeah, always feel free to come up and say hello. If you're at trading, you see me there. I don't bite.
Well, that's a lie, mate. I got a couple of bite marks, but that's fine. All those, all my Tom Power takes and my Zach Banch takes, you get the teeth out, mate. It's pretty crazy. Zach Fisher takes. Put down below in the comments as well who's going to win the Super Bowl. Myself and Joel will be attending a Super Bowl event on Monday, which is exciting. My 49ers are not there, but my second team is the Patriots because I'm a Boston fan and everything else. So I will be on the Pats like Joel will be too. But put down below, who do you want to win? I know the Seahawks are favorites. I get that. Who do you want to win realistically? Because the Seahawks are a bit gross, to be honest, Joel. I'm not a massive Seahawks fan. I'm a 49ers man. And
Sam Darnold's got a good story, though. I like the story for Sam Darnold, but I'm definitely a Patriots man.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully the Patriots win and, it's just another championship
the
going back to
silverware.
Boston, which is my second home because I need the Red Sox and the Celtics to be better. Well, actually, the Celtics are third in the East, so they're
Not too
killing
bad.
everybody. Anyway,
Good trade.
we got Vooch, though. We can talk about that after we finish the pod. All right. Put all your NBA hot takes down below. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? All the Kane Corns hot takes. And how crazy am I for talking about Zach Fisher? Or do I make some good points sometimes? Probably not. Thank you for listening, guys. I'll chat to you next week. See you at the live show.